Cox.
That's never games.
I know, I'm just teasing.
Oh, okay, thanks.
How you doing?
But the sound goes through, right?
No, that's the thing, the sound's not good.
But I mean, there are speakers that go through.
They're not.
What I don't understand is why I can see it on the meters here. The sound is coming through.
Over $315 a foot.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ebony, are you going to let
There he is, Member Cox.
You know, I'm gonna have a T-shirt that's printed that says you're muted. There you go. There
Now we
you
got it.
are.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hey, Member Cox.
Member
when
Cox, you finally made it.
That's
Oh,
right.
no. Oh, my. Uh-oh.
Good
Watch
morning,
out.
Member Cox.
Oh, boy. Ladies are on. Boy, oh, boy, guys. I mean, we could hide, but I guess we can't go too far.
Hey, Member Cox. When we do have our first live meeting, you might want to borrow one of Mr. Von Paris's trucks so you can get your allotment of cookies restored.
Got it. Need it. Been a long time. Hey, Lee, we interrupting your tea time or
Yeah, you are.
toast time, huh?
No, sorry to say, I'm back in town. So I'm at the office here.
Good. I'm going down the end of the month, back down to Key West.
All right, good.
Probably, hope she makes the move on.
Oh, okay. Good time to sell
Yeah, it is.
in Florida,
It is.
in most places, really.
Member Enzer, you got everything squared away this morning?
I hope so. I believe we do.
Gentlemen, we still have about 5 minutes for others to join and our presenters to join. 8:58.
Well, I think it's 9 o'clock, so. Good morning. My name is Bill Enzer, and I am the chairman of the Maryland Transportation Authority Capital Committee, and we'll be conducting this morning's meetings. I hereby call the meeting of the Capital Committee to order at 9 a.m. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with live streaming law, this meeting is being conducted via video conference and is being live streamed on the Maryland Transportation Authority Capital Committee page. As a reminder, all members of the Capital Committee will have their video active during the entirety of the meeting. To minimize background noise during the call, I would ask that everyone on the line please mute your phones. I ask that anyone who is presenting or answering questions to please turn your video and audio on when speaking. When you are done, please turn your video off and put your audio on mute. There are no members of the public, no elected officials, and no media that have pre-registered to commit at today's meeting. At this time, we will move to the agenda item number 1, and that is approval of open session meeting minutes. That's me, I did that. Okay, then we have approval of BB 2726000 eastbound William Preston.
Chairman Enzer,
Yes.
you need to ask for a vote on the open session minutes.
Oh,
They have to
okay.
have a motion and a second.
Oh, okay.
This is Mary. I'll make the motion.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
All right.
I'll second. Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
we're all set. Okay, shall I start back at the very beginning again?
Just move on to agenda item number 2.
Okay. Agenda item number 2 is BB 2726000 eastbound William Preston Lane Jr. Memorial Bay Bridge Rehabilitation Phase 1, and that's Takeste Amir.
Yes, good morning, Chairman and members of the Capital Committee. My name is Takeste Amara. I'm the Structures Engineering Manager. I'll be presenting on this project today. So BB 27260000, PIN number 2317, eastbound William Preston Lane Jr. Memorial or Bay Bridge Rehabilitation Project Phase 1. This project is for the pre-construction design services of the project. I just want to start by pointing out that this project, the eastbound Bay Bridge Rehabilitation Project, is different from the recently completed westbound project in terms of its traffic impact, as it utilizes mainly nighttime bridge closures and minimize the impact to the peak traffic in the daytime commute times. With that, I want to point out also that this is the pre-construction services or design services to be provided by the construction contractor in conjunction with the rest of the design team. MDTA advertised an RFP request for proposals in 2019, end of 2019, and received 5 proposals for a CMAR contract, which is a construction management at risk contract for this project. And in this project, we are requesting that contractors come on board and work with the design consultant and MDTA to come up with a constructable design for the construction of the project. So the construction services for this project include a deck floor system replacement for the deck truss spans of T1 to T13 and T14 to T22. Just to explain the location, these sections of the bridge are located just west and east of the suspension span. So these are the location where the bridge curves and merge into the suspension span. And then that straight line location between the suspension span and the through truss span. This project also includes utility relocation from the bridge so that the deck replacement can be handled properly, painting, other facility-wide rehabilitations, and also off-site stormwater management work. So MDTA Proposal Evaluation Committee reviewed the 5 proposals presented by the contractors and also conducted an oral presentation by the contractors to evaluate the technical proposals submitted. And after the evaluation of the technical proposal, which had 4 types of evaluations, anything between unacceptable to exceptional, for 8 categories rather for the technical evaluation. Then the technical evaluations, the technical proposal were ranked in the order of who received high to low. So these 8 technical proposal evaluation criteria have different levels of importance. So some of these criteria were important, some are significant, and some are critical. So the critical are 3 times as important, and the significant are twice as important, those categories considered as important. So all these 8 criteria was evaluated based on that criteria as stipulated in the RFP. And upon completion of this technical evaluation, we work with our procurement office to open the price proposals. And the price proposals and technical proposals are weighed equally, and an overall evaluation was conducted for the entire proposal, which includes both technical and financial. So after the evaluation committee conducted the overall evaluation, we submitted that recommendation for award to procurement. And we are here seeking approval of this contract for the pre-construction services so that we can start working with the contractor to design the detailed design of the deck replacement work. With that brief summary, I would like to answer any questions that the committee members may have. Thank you.
Anyone have questions?
Yeah, I have questions. So just so I understand it, we're awarding this whole thing based on their you're calling it a pre-constructed services, but the whole $215 million project is going to be going based on this award, right? It's design build, So they've got a firm number for their pre-construction services, but the rest of it, the rest of the 214 million is just a guess. Is that right?
This approval is for the pre-construction services, but the evaluation, the technical proposal evaluation include everything from the scope of services, just to kind of give you an idea of what the evaluation criteria were. So we have past performance and key staff to make sure that the contractor has capability in terms of key staff and equipment. We have a construction approach, which includes both pre-construction approach and construction approach as part of the technical proposals. And we have estimating, how well a contractor can estimate and what tools they would use. So in the technical proposal, the entirety of the project was evaluated, not just the pre-construction services. But when it comes to this portion of the approval, we are seeking approval for the pre-construction services, but subsequent package will be issued as part of the $200 million project. Those will be a package one, where it may be a utility relocation package, package two, and maybe preparatory work to procure materials for the deck, bridge deck fabrication, and eventually another package may be the actual removal of the deck and replacement by new ones. So those subsequent contracts or package will be issued later on based on an agreed price, which is called the guaranteed maximum price. So we will come to the capital committee and board for further.
Oops, I lost you.
Yeah.
I think I understand it.
Yeah. Hi, members. This is,
Yeah.
oh, it looks like maybe Takesta might have been able to rejoin. His connection might have got back up. Takesta, you're on mute now.
Yes, I'm here.
So-
So go ahead.
So I just so I understand, I mean, when you'll be coming back on for different phases for approval, well, you'll be just submitting the Corman-McLean, assuming we approve this, you'll just be submitting the Corman-McLean proposals. There won't be any other ones, I guess. They're kind of they've got the design build award, correct? I mean, if we don't like the numbers, we don't have to approve it. The future phases, I understand that, but right.
Yes. It was the belief of the evaluation committee, based on the proposal submitted, that the best value to the state was presented by the Corman-McLean joint venture, and technical proposal covered major items, major risks that were identified in the request proposals, which included how we manage traffic, how minimize risk to the project, which include not being able to open the bridge to traffic in the morning peak hours, and how we handle the utility relocation, so that the major risks on the project are covered. So with that, that selection was made based on that best value. But at this time, we're approving the pre-construction services, and future package will determine whether we like the negotiated price or not.
If I may, Takesta, just add
Okay.
a brief point. Our prior CMAR project for the Curtis Creek Bridge, the way that, to your question, Member Gaines, the way that the approvals were done for the budget is, as Takesta mentioned here, the evaluated price is simply an estimate at this point of the future construction costs. It's not an established. That's something that has to be worked out, as Takesta mentioned, as the guarantee maximum prices are established for the work packages. But what we did previously is, as those work packages were refined with the CMAR vendor, we came back and obtained approval from the board for a program budget. And so we didn't bring back every single smaller work package as those are being developed. Once we got to a point where we were comfortable that the estimates were refined enough that we could establish a program budget for each of those smaller work packages, we brought that back to the board, that giving the authorization to allow us to be able to move forward and not, hold up the individual work packages in a timely way. But just want to make sure that that's clear, that we will come back in the future to establish a program budget.
Have a question. The award you're looking at today is where the 5 bidders were, and it's 17% less than the engineer's estimate. Is that correct? On the first phase?
27% less, I think.
Yes, yeah, that is the variation to the pre-construction service. The pre-construction services were estimated for about $900,000, and the Corman McLean was lower by 27%.
27%, right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What utilities? You said you have a big utility relocation package. What utilities are on the Bay Bridge? I know there's no sewer or water, are there? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. The Bay Bridge surprisingly has a number of power utilities, like the 480 volt or the 5 kV volt power supply lines, which are attached to the bridge. There are also fiber and communication type of utilities on the bridge. And the intent is, if we relocate those to a place on the bridge where it will not interfere to the deck replacement, we will minimize the risk during construction.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Well,
This is Mario. I'll move for approval of BB 2726-0000.
I'll second it, Bill.
okay. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it, so be it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have a approval for FT 3019000, all electric toll conversion at the Fort McHenry Tunnel, and that is Nafez.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Sorry about how I pronounced your name.
that's okay. You got it right on. Thanks. It's okay. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, board members. My name is Nafez Al-Qasim. I'm the Deputy Director of Project Development in the Office of Engineering and Construction. Today I'll be presenting contract number FT 3019, which is, as member Ensor mentioned, is the all electronic toll conversion at the Fort McHenry Tunnel. The work involved in this contract includes the total removal of the existing toll plaza elements and the installation of new all-electronic toll gantries, as well as reconfiguration of the travel lanes along I-895 main line and the ramps to and from Keith Avenue. This project was advertised on December 22nd of last year. The anticipated notice to proceed, the construction notice to proceed, that is, will be on July 21st of this year, and the contract has a duration of 730 calendar days. The contract was advertised with an MBE goal of 25% overall goal and 8% African sub-goals of 8% for African American and 11% for women-owned enterprises. It also included a 1% VSBE goal. The low bidder was Allen Myers on this contract. They submitted an MBE plan which slightly exceeded the required MBE, or their MBE goal slightly exceeded the required MBE goal. Their MBE plan is currently being evaluated by the Office of Fair Practices. We haven't gotten an approval from them yet, but we don't anticipate any issues with that. Again, the engineer's estimate was $16,412,860. The low bid was, we received 5 bids on this contract, ranged in price from $13.5 million to $20.5 million approximately. Allen Myers was the low bidder. Their bid was $13,597,777. This project will be funded 100% by toll revenues, and we did not have any protests on the bid. Given that the low bid was 17% lower than the engineer's estimate, we performed a bid analysis and a bid justification. We came up with, or we discovered that pretty much the whole difference between the engineer's estimate and the low bid, pretty much two items made up the whole difference, which are the maintenance of traffic item and the removal of the existing toll plaza item. We typically, when we do our engineer's estimate, we always assume 10% for maintenance of traffic, but Allen Myers' bid was much lower than that. And the toll plaza removal item, Allen Myers did the other 2 toll plaza conversions that we did at the Key Bridge and the Hannon Bridge. We took their lump sum price for those items and converted it into a unit price per toll booth removal. And we used that to come up with our engineer's estimate price for this project. But for some reason, their bid price was much lower than the engineer's estimate for their item. We did, however, reach out to them to make sure that they understood the work involved with those 2 items and that they're comfortable with their bid price. They assured us that they are, I guess, lessons learned from the other 2 projects. They kind of were able to sharpen their pencils and give us a lower price than they did on the other 2 projects. So again, we're comfortable with their bid, and given the fact that they did the other 2 conversion projects at the Key Bridge and the Heron Bridge, they did it successfully and satisfactorily, we do recommend moving forward with awarding this project to Allen Myers. With that, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions if anyone have any.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Let me ask you, and maybe Will or Jim might be able to answer this also, that once this is complete, and obviously you slow down to 10 or 15 miles an hour going through the current toll facility, will this allow a greater speed, or this will keep it at the same 10 or 15 mile an hour slowdown?
No, it's a regular highway speed. It's 55 miles an hour. This will be also 55 miles an hour. Yes.
So you're anticipating this is the traffic flow, I guess, obviously.
Going through the gantry.
Yes.
We'll be able to do it at 55 mile an hour.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The 10 or 15 is current. Is that correct?
Yes, because you don't have to stop. Yeah, right now you mean because the lanes will be normal width, 12-foot lanes, just like highway lanes, and there's no islands, no toll booths. I mean, the reason for the reduction in speed, because you got to go through, a narrowed lane with toll islands and toll booths. Now those will be gone. It'll be 12-foot lanes, just normal highway lanes, which will enable people to just drive through at normal highway speed. Just like we did at the Key Bridge and Hanem Toll Plaza.
And Bay Bridge as well.
And Bay Bridge as well. Sorry, yeah, you're right, Jim.
Right.
When did you when did you say you bid this job?
This was bid on March 17th.
Okay, of this year.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
I got a question, but it's probably more a general question. And Will, this is probably more directed to you. And I've been thinking about, I probably even told you about a project where, and I mentioned it to the members that are on here right now, I mentioned it before we started this meeting, we had a project where at the beginning of it, when we first bid it, our pricing was, it's 42-inch sanitary sewer, and it's big pipe, and it's PVC pipe, and PVC is in pretty big shortage right now. And it was $100 a foot, round numbers then, and now it's probably going to be $400 a foot. Now, the good news from my perspective is this section of pipe that we hadn't put in yet got delayed because of somebody else's snafu. So I'm gonna recover it, thankfully, because obviously I've got 500 feet of pipe at an additional $300. That's not a little bit of money for us to have to eat. So I've been asking around about what other people are getting hit with, and so far and so forth. Like for example, Del Dot's been able to hold their ground on price increases, but I'm guessing we're going to start getting some claims like that.
We've had some limited questions about pricing from a few select contractors, but generally it's not been a wholesale issue at this point. I think we believe that bidders understand that the way that we structure our contracts, escalation is generally the contractor's risk. There are some select bid items like our asphalt pay items for diesel fuel adjustments and whatnot, that there are some baked in opportunities for escalation in certain instances. But in most cases, we have in our contracts stored materials provisions that allows contractors, shortly after they're receive the notice to proceed, and even in some instances, we'll work with them to allow for some stored materials and processing the submittals and all to get to where they can purchase them very early in the procurements. We have those stored material provisions so that the materials are purchased early to avoid issues of escalation. So generally speaking, as you said, Del Dot is doing, we similarly have not been allowing for any escalation of pricing due to any recent fluctuations in the market. Those are factors that we expect in the bidding process that the contractors include in their bids. And really, it wouldn't be fair to the contractors that are including those kinds of escalation in their bids and the others that want to try to ignore that and dump it on us. So we kind of, as you say, have to sort of hold the ground to be fair and reasonable to the entire industry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think it's going to be, if we continue on this crazy trajectory of construction material pricing, I wouldn't be shocked if we're not going to start seeing more attempts to collect, even if, regardless of what our language is in our proposal, our contracts. Because I see me having to do it on my own projects now. That see where it goes. I think it's just something, and you're already aware of it because we talked about it, but I've been talking about it more in here, and I've been talking about it among some competitors, and I see it growing because who can predict the pandemic and the impacts that it has?
I'm not sure whether it's a pandemic or the storms in the Texas and the Midwest. I mean, they're always, the plastic people are always talking about the rising plants are shut down. They can't get rising, right?
Right.
So they can't make the pipe. So they're not quote, we bid a job. There's no firm pricing anymore. It's not
right.
It's when you and then you can order it. It's not even firm them. It's when they ship it. So fortunately, we're in private contracting, and we can talk to our customers. But you don't have a lot of plastic products in your projects, do you, Will? Doesn't seem like. That's where the worst of it is. In ductile iron, pipe.
Lumber's been crazy too, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for your buildings. Yeah.
Cement's been crazy. I mean,
Lumber, horrible.
Lumber's crazy. So I know a home builder who's now added a premium of $50,000 on top of his houses just to cover the increased costs in materials.
Minimum $22,000 on a house, minimum.
I think the average is something like 30. More than that, I saw in some article was 34,000.
Yeah.
So
yep.
yeah. Well, fortunately,
As we're bidding these projects, our estimating will reflect what the current market conditions are. And we would expect that the contractors are bidding based on the conditions that they're seeing today and again, factoring in escalation.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, I just think it's something that we're probably going to end up seeing more issues with. I don't know, maybe, and I said Panama Canal, I meant Suez Canal. wrong canal. I'll while I've got the floor, I guess I will make a motion to approve FT-3019-0000.
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
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 Ayes have it. Okay. Okay, next is approval of BB 3013-000 R1 call structural repairs and miscellaneous modifications for Bay Bridge. Abby Tamaret.
Good morning. My name is Abby Tamarat, structural engineer for OEC. I'm presenting BB 3013 today, on-call structural repairs and miscellaneous modifications for Bay Bridge. The purpose of this contract is to have a contractor on a standby to perform structural steel, concrete, miscellaneous priority repairs at the eastbound and westbound Bay Bridges, as well as the toll plaza. The contract is a typical low-bid construction project. The allowance items included $5,000 for partnering and $2.2 million for miscellaneous work, such as materials, equipment, and specialized subcontractors. The engineer's estimate for this contract was $14.3 million, advertised on January 28, 2021. Bids received on March 30, 2021. 2 bids were received. Low bid was submitted by MD Miller, also known as Marksman, in the amount of $12.9 million. We are recommending award of this contract to MD Miller. Bid price was 10% below the engineer's estimate. There was no bid protest or rejection for this contract. Bid justification was not needed for this contract. However, submitted bids were reviewed and found to be acceptable. MBE goal for this contract is 18% with no sub-goals, and the VSBE goal is 1%. Marksman has proposed an MBE plan with overall 18% with sub-goals of 7.6 for African American, 7.4 for women-owned, 2.9 for Asian American owned, and 1% VSBE. Marksman has a long history with us. Actually, they completed identical contract on the Bay Bridge, and we are happy with their work. NTP is anticipated in July 2021, and contract duration is 1,095 days for construction. We are seeking contingent approval from the Capital Committee to present this contract to the full MDTA board in anticipation of approval for the contract award. With that, I conclude my presentation and open the floor for any questions you may have.
I see that there's a big disparity between the 2 bidders.
Correct.
One's 10% below your estimate and the other is 75% higher.
Yes, the second bidder, Bronner, won the last 2 on-call contract recently, and we are thinking maybe this is the third one and they just high bid it. I mean, they bid similar project in the past and their price wasn't this high before. So what we are assuming is because they won the 2 recent on-call, they just highball this contract. That's our assumption.
They mostly bidding unit prices, so your unit prices for labor, operators, things like that, steel workers, that kind of stuff. Is that, I mean, is that the basis of the award?
Yes, most of the items are labor and material, but we have
pretty
few
easy,
items.
Pretty easy to see. They doubled the prices. They doubled Miller's prices. It seems like.
Yes.
They obviously didn't want the job, I guess. No,
Yeah.
There's nobody else interested in it. Huh?
Well, I mean, there was only 2 bidders. Maybe they were taking a shot and thinking, you know what? nobody else is going to bid it, and they just took a wild shot at it.
Yeah.
Or
I
more
mean,
likely.
we've done that before.
Yeah, it could be capacity issues too.
Yeah, and it could be that too, but
I have trouble.
I mean, there were
But
only two
over,
bidders.
it's over 3 or 4 years though, so you would think you could adjust to that, but I'd hate to see if Miller didn't bid it, then we'd be paying.
Honestly, I think Bronner took a gamble. I think Bronner said, you know what, we've had this for the last few years. We're not going to have any competition, and we're going to take a gamble. That's what I think happened.
Probably. I'll move for approval.
All in favor, by signify aye.
I'll second it.
Aye.
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 Okay, ayes have it.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is Jeannie Marriott on the CTP process additions. Hi, Jeannie.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
For the record, I am Jeannie Marriott, the Capital Program Manager, and today I will be giving you an overview of the CTP process and an update on the additions to the capital program. And then I'll also be giving this information to the board on May 20th. The CTP is MDTA's 6-year plan for the capital program and includes the current year, the upcoming year, and the 4 succeeding planning years. The CTP is updated twice a year and brought to the board members for approval in June as the draft CTP and in November as the final CTP. After approval by the board members in June, the draft CTP is presented as part of MDOT's CTP tour to local elected officials and citizens throughout the state of Maryland for review and comment. It is then revised and submitted after MDTA board approval in November as the final CTP as part of the governor's budget to the Maryland General Assembly in January. And this process is required by statute and applies to MDTA as well as the other MDOT business units. And the CTP is divided into 3 parts: construction program, D&E, and system preservation. In the construction program, major projects and system preservation minor projects programs include ongoing projects and those projects which are scheduled to begin construction within the 6-year period. Only those projects that the MDTA can afford to complete, given the most recent revenue forecast, are included in the CTP. And you'll see that the additions that we've made this time were all funded from the reserves. None of them represent an increase in the overall program. And within the projects, we have engineering, right-of-way acquisition, and construction. And previously, the planning phase was included in the CTP, but that is now part of the operating budget. The D&E program contains those major projects which are being prepared for possible future addition to the construction program. Work included in the D&E program is primarily preliminary design, up to 60% complete plans. Projects are moved from the D&E program to the construction program as funds and resources become available based on the merits of the projects. Currently, there are no MDTA projects in the D&E program. Those projects previously in the D&E program have been funded and moved to the construction program. Funding availability is based on MDTA's 6-year financial forecast, which considers estimates of traffic and revenue, the operating and capital budgets, debt service payments, the potential need for future bond sales and toll increases, and compliance with financial standards, which include the trust agreement rate covenant, debt service coverage, and unrestricted cash balance. And the new projects originate from 5 sources: long-range capital needs, inspection findings, regulatory compliance, increased capacity needs, and local priority letters and legislative requests. The long-range capital needs is primarily a list of planned rehab or replacement projects based on life cycle. The Office of Engineering and Construction, the Division of Operations, and the Division of Planning and Program Development and other stakeholders annually review the useful life of the facility components and estimate costs and timelines to rehab or replace the components. The expected useful life of a component does not provide an exact expiration date, but gives an idea of when we should begin planning and budgeting to address it. Inspection findings are used in tandem with the life cycle estimates to confirm rehab or replacement is necessary as scheduled, or to expedite a project when it is needed ahead of schedule. Additionally, inspections can reveal the opportunity for smaller scale repairs that can prevent a facility or component from degrading to the point of needing a larger, more expensive project. And these smaller scope repairs can be diverted to on-call contracts, and those on-call contracts are a critical part of the program approach to system preservation. The remaining sources, regulatory compliance, capacity needs, and local priorities, make up a smaller proportion of the CTP. Regulatory compliance includes projects for EPA mandated stormwater management. Increased capacity needs are based on traffic forecast recommendations, and local priorities are established each year as counties and Baltimore City are asked to submit a list of priorities for the state transportation system. And in the fiscal year 22 to 27 draft CTP that's going to be presented for your approval in June includes 4 new projects, and those 4 projects are listed in attachment A. The first 2 are software projects. The Civil Rights Compliance Information Management System, also known as PRISM, is being used to monitor the federal civil rights requirements for the Nice Middleton Bridge project. The Purchase Card Information System, also known as P-Card, is replacing an outdated system that is definitely needs to be replaced. The on-call miscellaneous paving repair refers to paving and pavement markings that are needed on any of our roadways or at any of our facilities that can be used. And the environmental on-call phase 4 is going to provide an on-call contract to perform drainage and stormwater best management practices remediation. And as you can tell, because it's called phase 4, we have been doing this for a while. And this one can also be used on any portion of any of the authority's facilities. And that concludes my presentation. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
No, I know you've heard a lot of this before, so it's just an overview, but we wanted to let you know about the 4 projects that we were adding. And also to make sure that you know that we are not adding anything that increases the capital program. These projects were all funded from the reserves that were already in the program.
I appreciate the overview.
Thank you, Jeannie.
You're welcome.
So we have to have a vote on that. All in favor of?
No, it's just informational. Next month, I'll be looking for your approval.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll make you sweat it out then.
Okay.
Well, then I'll move for adjournment.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor by aye? Aye.
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 That was a quick second, Member Cox.
Yeah. I
Okay.
tried to beat Lee because he's, he's got a few more minutes to go.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Nice day, everybody.
Have a good one. Good
Nice
Chairman.
on the golf course.
Enzer, good job.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.